to That's Debatable. It's a segment that we like to do where we debate. First things first is that we pick a debate that is a little bit controversial. One of us will have to defend it. The other will attack. We decide by flipping a coin.
And we're forced to have an opinion that
these
we
aren't our
might not
opinions.
have. So then we usually add a little touch of what we actually think. And you guys could chime in the comments because we really like hearing what everyone thinks.
Yep. Then we'd like you guys to decide who you think wins, which side is better, or just your opinion in general. Comment down below.
And if you guys have topics that you want us to debate on, we've done a few topics that our audience has suggested. So please send them down. Send them down here, Patreon, wherever you want. Welcome to the show, baby.
That's Debatable, I guess. Hi,
That's
I'm
right.
Corey.
And I'm Nick.
And your guys' names are insert blank here.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. And if you want to see the full uncut and uncensored version,
well, it's if you guys want early access to these podcasts, you're going to go over to our Patreon, link down below. And if you guys like us doing commentary on stuff, you're going to love our movie and show commentary, which you can find at Nick and Corey YouTube channel, and also the full uncut and uncensored version of those, also on our Patreon.
And if you want to listen to this podcast on audio while you drive and you're drifting on the streets trying to avoid traffic, check it out on Spotify, Amazon, or Apple.
All right, first debate.
Should you confess your feelings to a friend?
Should you confess your feelings to a friend? Heads is
Heads
yes.
is you should. Tails is you shouldn't.
All right, this is for me. What's it going to be?
That's a long flip. Heads, Corey.
Heads is you should
Bing
confess your feelings
bong.
to a friend. This is tricky.
You have a crush on a friend.
You have a crush on a friend. Tricky. You should confess your feelings to a friend. I think you should, because if you hang out with someone long enough that you have a crush on, these feelings will seep out and it'll be obvious to them at some point that you're acting weird, that you do have a crush.
You're acting weird.
Yeah, that you're being weird, or like you're crushing and you're not acting your normal self, and they're gonna think you're weird. But if you tell them in a healthy and appropriate way, clear the air, make them not feel like you're being a weirdo, and it can just all be kind of like answered from there. They'll say like, yeah, I'm totally into you, and you guys can actually do something about it, or they can say, no, I don't feel the same about you, and then it's your responsibility to be like, all right, I understand, I hear what you're saying, and I can't do anything about these feelings, but I will not act on them, and it'll just go away. And then you got to convince them that you're not going to keep doing that. But I think that it is a healthy thing to tell people in a very calm and normal way that you have feelings, and it should not affect your friendship if you're actually friends.
Okay. Should you confess your feelings to a friend? I think you shouldn't, according to my tails flip. I think you could a close friendship potentially by trying to evolve that friendship into a relationship. So I think it's better to not push that. But I have a little caveat for this.
Ooh.
I think that if one person has strong feelings for another in a friendship, I don't know. I don't think you can be friends. So I think you basically...
You don't think you can be friends?
Not with someone you have a really big crush on.
Why not?
I'm forced to believe something. I mean, I'm forced to defend something that I don't believe.
Well, I understand if you're forced to defend it, but like, what do you mean that you can't be friends?
I think that your crush will get in the way of a friendship, and it's going to become I really don't like unequal friendships. I think they're rather harmful for both people involved, because say you're both friends and you both see each other as friends, but one person has like a sexual attraction to the other person,
sure,
while the other person doesn't have that back. That could form a lot of issues that make that friendship relationship fall apart regardless. So it's like it's something that's going to like create spikes along the road, and some people just can't get over that.
Well, here's the thing. I think that if that is to happen, it's going to happen regardless. Like, you can't control that you have a crush on your friend. Like, that's just going to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
And whether you tell them or not isn't going to affect the fact that you still have the crush. But what it will do is you'll know. You'll know right away that they either do or don't feel the same. Not telling them, you'll be in this limbo of like trying to figure out a way to make it work.
I mean, you might be able to snuff those feelings out if enough time passes and you're not hanging out super actively, because a lot of crushes will grow stronger from proximity. So say it's a friend that you see like 3 times a week. If you switch to seeing that friend once a week or every other week, you might have less of a crush on them. And those feelings could fizzle if you develop feelings for somebody else, and say you get into a relationship, so you end up not confessing your feelings, you end up saving a friendship.
It's one of these things of like, if you really don't want to date them, you just have a crush. I don't even know like what that situation is. You just have like a bang feeling for them, like you think they're
You're
hot.
infatuated.
Yeah. then like if you don't want to ruin that relationship because you know it's going to be a one-time thing, like you just want to that's it. Like, yeah, probably try to figure out a way to.
Oftentimes it's not that with a friend though.
No, well, because here's how I see it. Maybe this is a weird philosophy, but what is a relationship besides a friend that you find attractive and they also find you attractive and as a friend? Obviously, it's more than that. There's more intimacy.
You have more commitment to them.
But that's once it becomes a relationship. Like I believe that you should consider your partner as a friendly person, like
as like a best friend.
You see them as a friend, whether that's best friend or or something more than that.
Ideally, you see your partner as a friend.
Like imagine the relationship you have with a friend. Why is it your friends? You have things in common that you enjoy talking about or doing together.
You like spending time with them.
You should have that with your partner. It shouldn't just be like, hey, we're mates and then we'll have kids and we won't do anything together.
It's just different with oftentimes I think having a crush and having a crush on a close friend are very different. I think having a crush just means you're typically just you're smitten by someone.
Well, it's by distance, proximity. It's if you have a crush on someone that isn't a close friend, you're not going to see them often. So yeah, you can avoid dealing with those feelings. But if it's a friend, close friend, whatever, if you interact with that person on a weekly basis, let's just say, close friend could be like daily, but like let's just say you see them once a week.
Sure.
Which is still frequent.
That's frequent, yeah. Especially when you get older.
Those feelings likely aren't going to go away until something happens. Either, like you said, you need to start dating someone else to just avoid those feelings being projected. It can.
You can keep them as a friend. Like I said, I think the biggest problem with this is that it's not just a crush where you're infatuated with someone and you just want to bang them. Oftentimes, if you have a crush on a friend, it's a lot more than that.
I think that's a good thing.
I had a massive crush on one of my best friends in high school. Mm-hmm. You know who it is.
You don't have to go into it, but I know.
Yeah. So this girl, I had a massive crush on her and she knew it. Like she could tell I had a crush on her. And I remember there was a moment when I confessed my feelings. She happened to be in a relationship that I didn't know about. Okay. And it was awkward. And I kind of wished I hadn't done that. We did go back to being regular friends after that. But I could see a world where I could have just moved on and not been
But I think you're thinking of it in like retrospect of like, oh, it didn't work out, so I could have just not said anything and it would have been better because you're like the rejection hurt or it was like worse for you overall than if you just didn't say anything to begin with. But I think that's like backwards thinking.
Yeah, my real opinion is that I think you should confess your feelings because I think living with a what if or a why sucks.
I personally
and I think you should avoid that.
That it's not about the confessing. It's just you as a person. If you are the kind of person who is going to make it a big deal if they say no, then you're like, that's not the confessing that makes it a problem. It's you. Like, deal with your first.
I think you need to just deeply assess your circumstances with this person. You need to consider the fact, is there a chance they might like you back? Or are you just delusional in your mind?
I don't necessarily think even that's the problem.
I think that matters. Because I think if you can very clearly tell that this person's not into you, like say they have another relationship, right?
Oh, okay. I think that's a very different thing.
Like if you shouldn't say, hey,
if you
I love
confess
you.
feelings to somebody that is in another relationship, that's scummy. That's scummy of you.
I mean, sometimes you can't, but there's plenty of relationships.
You can help it.
Listen, there's plenty of lifelong relationships that form out of a person confessing their feelings to someone who's in a relationship and that person's on like, let's say the tail end of it. And like, there's plenty of people in this world. And I stand by this. Having been in this, having helped people end relationships like this, that are in relationships that they should not be in anymore. Mm-hmm. They're too comfortable. They no longer love the person that way. They're just kind of like just getting by in that relationship. I think that it might be in that person's best interest for that relationship to end.
Yeah.
And
where are you going with this? I agree with that, but what does that have to do with the friend confessing?
I don't think that a friend confessing their feelings to someone that's in a relationship is the end of the world.
I think it's rude.
It could be rude, but the alternative could be worse.
What alternative?
You having to live with thinking that the person is like perfect for you and
no, okay. My feelings on this is that if you try to hit on, you can call it whatever you want, but if you try to hit on someone who's in another relationship, and as far as you know, they're in a committed relationship and they're good with it. It's not like you're trying to project being like, oh, they're unhappy and they're looking for a rescuer. They're in a relationship and they're committed to that person. If you try to butt in, like that's
it is shitty.
Don't do that.
I agree.
In your situation, what you said is you didn't know. That doesn't count. Like if you didn't know that the person you're talking to.
What if you could tell say they're a close friend of yours and their relationship is terrible and like you really want that relationship to end, but you also happen to have a big crush on them?
I think that makes you still scummy.
I could see it being scummy.
I think it's one thing to be like, hey, you're a close friend of mine. I have seen the way this guy treats you or this girl treats you. It's not right.
I could treat you better.
Period. End it. That's fine. Because like you're offering like just
But
genuine
okay, what if
advice.
you get them to end the relationship and then a week later you're like, hey, I really have feelings for you?
I feel like depending on how you deliver
What's the
it,
difference?
the difference is it's manipulative in ways because you're not just being a good friend and like trying to help them out of a situation. You're also trying to benefit from it.
What if you straight up told them like, hey, I don't think the relationship you're in is good for you? Like genuinely, like being on the outside and hearing what you've said about what this person has done to you. Also, I do have a big crush on you and I like you a lot. I don't know if you like me, but if you were single, I'm not telling you cheat with me. I'm saying if your relationship didn't work out, would you consider giving me a shot?
I think a lot of it's delivery, and I think the way that you're phrasing it now is probably the best it could go.
Fuck yeah,
assuming that the relationship genuinely is bad, you're not just like making.
Yeah.
Like if this person you think is perfect for you because of a crush and not actual reasons, and
it's usually not it's usually tied to some reasons. But
this is like that Taylor Swift song. It's like she likes short skirts, I wear t-shirts, blah blah. Like you're just making up about why the person they're with is bad.
Yeah.
Because you like them. That's
yeah.
like if you make up
your mind will manipulate you though.
Exactly. And
like your own mind. Like if you have a crush on someone, your mind will manipulate you.
Well, because you'll be like, oh,
that.
I'm so much better than them for you. Like we have more in common.
Yeah, that's
you
shitty.
You can't make that stuff up. You can't project why they don't belong.
But you can tell them, hey, I like you. I don't think your current relationship is great for you based on what you've told me about it. I'm not saying that you have to, but if you guys don't end up working out, Plan B is over here.
I think a lot of it is in presentation, but just by default, unless there's like a 10% chance you deliver this the best way possible, if someone is in a content relationship and you butt in by saying I have feelings for you, you should leave it because it's not the right relationship for you. I think that's a to do. You might be able to deliver it in a great way, charisma 10 out of 10. And it works out because like you just gave this awesome delivery and there were actually problems in that relationship. But my God, you are butting in and making stuff up for your own benefit. And that's manipulative.
I think you're better off, in my actual opinion, I think you're better off presenting your feelings.
I think it's better to do that and
without
let it
the
go.
intention of like having a result from it.
Yeah.
You should just present the fact, hey,
Exactly.
listen, I can't just be friends with you. I like you too much. So either no, that's a case too. And I've seen that happen with friends of mine. Like I've seen that exact thing happen. Sometimes you legitimately cannot be friends with someone. You're just too into them.
Why?
Because you just really like them. You can't imagine having them as just a friend because you can't stop thinking about them romantically. Just because we haven't experienced it or you haven't experienced it or somebody else hasn't.
I've gotten to a point of thinking that was a thing and then realizing like that's really too. Like I don't agree with that. I feel like if you like someone and it's a crush, obviously it's unrequited because they're not getting like they don't like you too.
They might. You don't know.
If you're saying I can't be friends with you because I like you too much, that's
why is that
because it says that you like only can interact with them if you can possess them.
Not possess them, but like you want them as more than a friend.
But why is being friends not enough? Like it has to be all or nothing.
Because you will not be able to get over them if you're around them.
I think it's different to say like I just need time to process and we can still be friends, but like I just need to like I need to not interact with you for a bit.
That's kind of the same thing.
But no, saying
okay, let's add currently. I currently can't be just friends with you. I need some time away from you because I like you too much.
And I think presenting it that way is fine of being like, hey, I still have these feelings. They're going to go away soon, but like they're still here.
They're going away. They're on their last stop.
Well, no, and that's a valid thing. It's like I have these feelings. They're fresh and obviously they're unrequited. I need some time just to let them go away because like I'm not going to be able to be rational around you for a minute. And it's not your fault. I'm gonna like
that's
feel
a
some
wholesome way to present
exactly.
It. And I'm not saying of like we can never be friends.
But that's how some people do present it.
I cannot be friends with you right now because I like you too much. I currently have no one else that I like nearly as much as you.
And I don't know if it even needs to be like we can't be friends right now. It's just like, hey, we're still friends. I just have these feelings and they're not gonna go away if I keep seeing you. I need like give me like
we're
week,
kind of saying
3
the
weeks.
Same thing, but
we're saying the same things, but I think it's the way you present it. A lot of it's the way you present it. Back to like the original argument. Should you confess your feelings to a friend? I personally think that it is 100% okay to present the fact that you like a friend, assuming they are not in a relationship with somebody else, and that's a normal relationship, not one that you're trying to break up to manipulate. But if you just say, hey, I got feelings for you, we're friends, I find you attractive, like we obviously get along because we're friends, I think that we'd have fun together and it'd be like a really cool thing. If you don't feel the same way, that's cool too. I'm not going to be weird about it. We'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a very good adult way to handle it.
And I think that having these conditionals make it weirder, where like a lot of people can't handle that. They'll be like, oh, you rejected me? Well, we're never friends anymore. Cut off for life.
There's more
and that
reasonable
feels
ways to
very
handle things, but
manipulative.
some people are too deeply attached to their emotions and they can't get over them. What do you guys think about this question? This is a really, really interesting one about whether you should or should not confess your feelings to a crush.
I've heard it that, like, as a girl, if a guy comes to them, like a guy friend, and says, hey, I have feelings for you, and then the girl says, no, I don't feel the same way, and the guy then says, okay, well, I can't be around you, I can't be friends with you anymore, it comes across to the girl that
They just wanted sex.
It was manipulative. You just wanted to get with them from the begining, and you don't care about them as a person.
I see both cases, but there's times where you can meet someone and you just genuinely friends, and then you just start liking them. Oftentimes,
Obviously, I think that's good.
Oftentimes, this is something where maybe it's forced proximity, like say work or school,
Yeah.
or it's happenstance proximity, like you go to the same gym together, you see each other there all the time, and you end up hanging out, and like you just have big feelings for them, and they don't. That happens all the time. People have feelings one way. Those feelings are not reciprocated, and you're just left hanging. And to some people, that's too much. They just cannot get over this person.
And that's what I'm saying, is that I think that if you can present it the right way, where you're saying, hey, I have these feelings. Obviously, you don't feel the same way.
No,
totally fine.
You shouldn't even assume that.
No, I mean, like after the fact they reject you.
Yeah.
If you say, I have these feelings for you, do you have the feelings for me? No? Okay, you don't have feelings for me. If I then say, I can't be friends with you, that makes it feel like you're only there for the relationship and nothing more. You don't care about them as a human.
some time away from you.
If you present it as, I feel like if you presented it as, hey, I have these feelings, it's not rational. I understand, but like I just need them to die so that we can be back to being normal without me feeling weird about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like we're still friends.
Yeah, I agree with
I feel like that'd be like super respectful.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, comment down below if you feel like that's something that you would want to hear from a friend. If they had feelings for you, how would you want them to broach it?
Yeah. Or if you have big feelings, what do you think is the most respectful way you can approach your friend with it?
Yeah. But yeah, I personally think that it is completely fine to confess feelings to a friend in a respectful and healthy way.
My real opinion, yes, I agree with you.
And I would say you should not if you're doing it manipulatively and they're already in a relationship. That's bad.
I think there's a case in which that could work, but you have to be eloquent. You can't be a dick.
You can't be a dick.
You can't be like...
You can't try to break up an otherwise normal, good relationship.
You shouldn't be like, hey, you got to break up with the person because I need to bang you.
God, nobody...
That's really selfish.
Imagine any movie. Nobody looks good being the guy who's like, yeah, you belong with me. The guy you're with is a bag and like he'll never be the right guy for you. I know you better than he does. Like,
it does work if the guy they're with is an actual though.
It just...
Like if they're with someone who's like treats them horribly, isn't there for them, has cheated on them.
Maybe it's the opposite. I think movies make it seem like that's actually the right thing to do, and it's not. Rom-coms teach people horrible lessons.
They make you see the main character. Anyways, let's go on to the next question. Question number 2, the flip for me.
All right, what's the question?
Can anything be forgiven?
Can anything be forgiven?
Yeah. Can you forgive anything?
Well, we know what Jesus is.
Heads is anything can be forgiven for me. Tails is not.
Tails, so you got nothing. Not everything can be forgiven. And I have to say that everything can be forgiven?
Okay. Someone hits your mom with the car, gets out of their car, on her, takes a piss on her head, comes into your house, says, hey, I killed your mom and her. You. Can't forgive that.
You had this locked and loaded.
I just presented that.
What is with that situation?
I don't know. That was AI generation
anything else?
in my mind.
Any other things that you could add on to that are like more unforgivable?
Yeah, they on their way to your door, they stole your dog and then pretended to bring it back.
Anything else?
That's all.
That's it?
I couldn't forget it. That's nothing.
Any other thing that you want to say? Or just like a situation that I have to now try to crawl my way out of?
Your whole.
Okay. I don't know if I want to tackle that situation right away, but I do believe this. I'm a person that I like to believe in second chances. I like to believe that nobody is set in stone in their ways, and you can do things in the past, no matter what age you are, by the way. It doesn't have to be like as a kid or as a young adult, and then like you could be 40, make a mistake, and then like you learn from it, and then you've done your time or consequences, and then like you're a changed person. I believe that everyone can change, because to say that someone can't change would imply that you can't change, and I feel like I can change if I was given the right motivations.
Valid.
So I think that forgiveness requires some things, requires some input. If I somehow omnipotently knew that the person who did whatever action was genuinely remorseful of their actions.
Well, they apologized well.
Genuinely, if they genuinely were remorseful, genuinely tried to make up for their mistakes, somehow led their life in a way that either avoided or prevented mistakes like that from happening again. I think that forgiveness is something that is a good thing to have. There is no goodness that comes from holding a grudge against someone other than you just feeling like it's a win for you. Like, obviously there are things that you just don't want to bother interacting with someone again, but if somehow you had this knowledge that you not easily, but you could get somehow in life, I think that there are ways that you could forgive someone if you knew that they genuinely wanted to change from where they were, or that they had a mistaken belief about themselves or the world and why they did what they did.
I agree with you that second chances are acceptable, and I do think most people should be given second chances. Most cases. There are cases where I do not think a second chance can be given. Like if someone, like say I had a daughter and someone sexually assaulted her, I could never forgive this person. I would smite this person to the ground. I couldn't hold back any wrath or rage towards this person. That's something I could not forgive. Now, here's something else though. I think things need to be accepted. I think you cannot go on living your life denying something because it will claw at you. That vengeance will sit in you. It will corrupt everything you have. I think you need to accept certain things, but I think there's certain things you cannot forgive somebody for. You will hate them for the rest of eternity. And that is vengeful, but you need to accept that what happened, and you are moving on from it. That's not forgiveness though. They're different. I think acceptance and forgiveness are different.
Here's the strange thing for me. In reality, like, you don't have this information, and if someone messes with you, does something that you feel like is unforgivable, you're going to write them off because you have no knowledge of their experiences after that incident, and you're just going to imagine them as the person who committed that incident forever. The thing is, and I've experienced this myself, when you watch a show or read a book or whatever, and you get to see the adventure of that character who commits like atrocities, and see them grow from it, you end up having empathy and compassion for them and forgive them for their actions because you've seen how remorseful they are and how they've changed.
Yeah, they evolve.
For instance, like, this is probably not a great example of this, but one of the best redeemed characters in fiction, Zuko from Avatar.
Yeah. Great character.
Yeah.
Fantastic writing.
The atrocities that he's committed is essentially...
He didn't commit that crazy of atrocities.
He's tried to kidnap and kill a 12-year-old because his dad said to.
And he's like 13.
I understand. He's also not cared about the lives of other people around him so long as he gets to his goal. Okay, selling out a bunch of other people, turning his back and betraying his uncle, doing all of this other shit, allowing that, like, the world to, like, basically be taken over by magic Nazis. But because you get to follow his arc and, like, learn where he's from after the fact and how he's changed and, like, genuinely wants to do good, you now can see that he's someone worth giving a chance. And in a bunch of other fiction, things that have been done worse, by the way, imagine like a character from Game of Thrones, like the Hound, who by the end of the show, you're like, this is someone that I think is like trying to genuinely be a good person. But by the beginning, he is a horrible human being. I think
terrible.
He killed a little boy just for fun.
Yeah.
Because he's fat. Maybe. I don't remember exactly. But he just like doesn't give a about anyone.
Fictional characters changes this slightly.
Well, good fiction is real people. Good fiction is real people.
Fair enough.
But the way that I see it is that if somehow you had the information about someone to know that they were genuinely remorseful, then I think that second chances are valid and
but
they're okay
there
to
are
have.
things that someone can do that are unforgivable. Hitler, unforgivable. Someone sexually assaulting my daughter. I don't have a daughter, but my hypothetical daughter. Unforgivable. Something like, okay, Corey, if you had a daughter, someone molested her, could you forgive them ever? Could you ever look this person in the eye with remorse? Ever? There's nothing that could have, like, what was someone holding him at gunpoint and say, hey, molest this person or I kill you? Probably not.
Here's how I feel about this. This is hard.
This is a horrible one.
I think that I personally am not strong enough to forgive everything.
And why is someone else then?
Some people are better than me. I imagine that Jesus, who said that he dies for sins and is okay forgiving everything, people that go to churching to give confessions and stuff, apparently everything is forgivable to them. I don't know why or how, but allegedly it is. And I'm curious how they would explain it. But if some people they're able to forgive, then I imagine it is possible for everything to be forgiven. I'm just not a great person to do it.
I disagree. I don't think anything can be forgiven. I think you can accept anything that happens to you because I live by the tale that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% your reaction. I think
also,
no matter what happens to you, you can live through it.
I'm also very biased in the sense of I think that if someone was a human to somebody else,
they can be a better human to someone else.
Well, like, yeah, if they were a human in the past to someone that wasn't me or anyone I know, and then I met them and I only know them as their remorse changed self, then I am more willing to continue forgiving them after learning about their past. For instance, maybe this would completely change your mind, but let's say you meet someone who's like, I don't know, late 60s. They're just like genuinely like kind person at your job. They're helpful. They like taught you something that you valued, maybe like mentored you in some kind of way, gave you some like life lessons and like whatever else. You just think they're like a genuinely like charismatic, helpful person. And you find out that in their past, they went to jail for like armed robbery, murder type. Maybe they did some more like a sexual assault. And you heard about it, you read about it, and like it obviously it changed the way you see them. But I think that maybe something like that's more forgivable because it's less personal.
Are you able to forgive them though? Because they didn't do anything to you. They just harmed the world. I'm talking about forgiving someone for like something that's been done to you. Like that's not why would you? I don't think you can forgive someone that's committed harm that's completely unrelated to you.
I think you can.
Like
but
if someone in Kazakhstan killed 5 babies and came here, I can't forgive them. Like I don't have anything towards them. Well, like I think they're terrible.
Well, what word would you use then? If you meet that person who killed 5 babies, came here, lived a life of like 20, 30 years and has had 0 issues, their community loves them and you're like okay with them and you continue having that relationship with them even after learning about their past.
I probably wouldn't. If I found out someone did that, I don't think I could continue like a relationship with them. I would be like, wow, this changes everything. I strongly believe that actions we commit in this world are formative of who we are. These actions can be influenced by substances or by circumstances, but that's what I think.
I'm personally of the opinion that the actions you take are because you thought it was the best thing to do at that time.
Not necessarily, no.
I think so. And I mean, you can disagree with that, but I don't think that anybody's an evil human. I think that everybody has good and bad in them.
And people act on impulses too.
And at the time of whatever negative actions you did because you felt at the time it was the best thing to do, given your worldview.
I think you can do something that's terrible and just kind of like, I think people have done things that they don't think are good things in the moment. Like, I don't think anyone that's robbing a bank is like, this is good.
No, I can see the rationale behind it.
Robin Hood mentality.
Yeah, there's other things too of like if you are a young person and your like sense of reality hasn't escaped outside of your bubble of you and maybe like the 1 or 2 people you care about in your friend group, you might value other humans as less, which is but that's just like your false view of the world. And if you grow to now encompass the rest of the world in your empathy and compassions, then you now realize that those actions actually were harmful and bad and you shouldn't do them anymore. I don't see why that person is written off for life. Maybe to the people that they did the actions to.
This is so hard.
It's hard. But like, again, I'm of the opinion that like I've done some past, you've done some past, everyone's done some shit in the past that is like
I regret, sure.
either cringy or regretful or just straight up like not good.
Yeah.
And I don't identify with those things.
Yeah,
I feel like the things I've done are because I was in a place that I didn't realize how bad they were, or that it was something that maybe it was for a reason, whatever it was. I think that you can be forgiven for a lot, and maybe I couldn't forgive for everything.
But personally, I don't think someone can. I don't think someone can forgive something horrible happening to their family.
I'm not the best person to argue this. I think that some people could forgive for anything, and God bless those people. I don't know how they do it, but
do you guys think anything can be forgiven? Genuinely anything? Like some of the horrible mentioned. Honestly, tell us in the comments. What do you think?
I feel like if anyone's religious and like you do believe that everything can be forgiven, explain why and how to the best of your ability, because I'm curious how it works.
Yeah, honestly, I'm curious. I want to know. I want to unlock my mind to that degree.
I think that like maybe like kind of similar to what you're saying, up to a certain point, I think I could forgive just about anything, even if it was done to me. If I could see the change.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some things that'd be really hard.
I don't hold grudges at all. I can't. Instead of holding a grudge, I'd rather just eliminate the person from my life. I don't consider that holding a grudge. I'll take them out of my mind because I don't think they're worth keeping in mind.
Maybe that's like potato. It depends on like what you mean by a grudge.
I really don't like holding resentment towards other people, and like people do this. They have these feuds for like decades with people. Just
yeah, but avoiding someone and like exiting them from your life and avoiding them and that's a grudge. I mean, you could call it something else, but like if they were in a circle, like let's say you work somewhere and like you didn't own the place, like you just worked somewhere and you had a grudge or non-grudge with someone that you wrote off and they interacted at that place of work, and you had a group that maybe needed to involve interacting with that person, not by choice, but just because they're there, and you would look like an absolute asshole for just like ignoring them as a customer or like client or whatever. You can't do that without holding a grudge.
You're right.
So I would call it a grudge. I think this is hard. I think that forgiving anything is possible on paper, but it is hard.
It's hard.
I think I would need to be omnipotent. If I could see inside someone's head and know that they are changed and remorseful and doing things to make up for the done, if somehow I knew that, I could forgive.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what that looks like. Well, all right. Last debate.
Is it okay to cheat on a cheater?
Is it okay to cheat on a cheater? Heads, it is okay. Tails, it is not okay. Heads, it's okay to cheat on a cheater. Them, get yours. If they're going to cheat on you, then cheat on them back. It doesn't matter anymore. Technically, is it cheating if they cheated? Because if your agreement in your relationship is to not do something and they break the contract's null and void. Therefore, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
That's what I agree with. But my point is, it's not okay to cheat on a cheater. You have a family. You're trying to hold the fort down, and you find out that your wife cheated on you 10 years ago. I think if you cheat now and things are going pretty well, you could something good that could deserve forgiveness.
Oh, you'd forgive.
Maybe. If things are going well now and that thing is long forgotten and the was made, wound's no longer fresh. I'm trying to force something out here.
No, I
don't think you should cheat on a cheater because I agree with you. That contract is broken. They've cheated on you.
No, your position is you shouldn't cheat on a cheater. Mine is you should.
I think it doesn't matter because once you've been cheated on, the contract is null and void.
The way that I see it is if it's a contract, once they've cheated and they've broken that contract, same way as if you order a Taco Bell burrito and they give you a lollipop.
You paid for the burrito.
You're allowed to throw at them because they've broken the contract. You can steal a burrito or whatever.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah,
Corey said you can throw on your Taco Bell drive-thru worker because they give you a lollipop.
If instead of your burrito, I'd be mad.
Would you throw shit at them?
Oh yeah.
Would you like sit in the drive-thru and be like,
I'd sling poop and go ooh ooh ooh. No, if anyone has a verbal written contract and they break it, it's null and void. That contract no longer needs to be upheld. You are free to do whatever you want outside of those terms. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they cheat on you, technically that relationship is already over. Until you choose to continue it.
Yeah.
You technically can cheat on them back, and it's not really cheating, but it is.
This is one of those points that I got to defend it, that it is not okay to cheat on a cheater. I mean, you've been cheated on. The only argument I have towards this is if you remove it from yourself, similar to the past situation that we were talking about, where you were talking about forgiveness is removing it from yourself and making it a bigger picture. Like tit for tat, eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I do believe that. If everyone tries to constantly seek out vengeance on one another, the world will turn to burn down.
Well, I feel like you have an easy position, to be honest.
What? That you can't cheat?
Yeah.
How's that easy?
Just break up. It's not cheating if you end it.
That's what I said already.
Yeah. Like that's probably the right thing.
I'm assuming that's
I
not
honestly
a way out.
I believe that.
Yeah, if someone cheated on you, break up.
I personally believe that if someone cheats on you, you end it. You make it very clear it is over, and then whatever you do after that is as if you're single.
Yeah.
However, if you get cheated on and you don't end it, you're like, all right, well, the new thing is now we're like open, and they're like, no. It's not. I made a mistake. If you continue to date them,
you're not being cheating.
I wouldn't say you're being cheating. I would just say you're cheating if you now break their boundaries. But I don't know.
Feel like it's vengeance, but once again, eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I support that. I think constantly seeking out vengeance for one another. Justice is different. This isn't justice. You're not going to get any justice from cheating on a cheater.
Here's what I've seen people do online, at least, is that let's say they're in a relationship, they're married for 10 years, have kids, whatever it is, something that's like hard to break up. They find out they get cheated on. They then tell the partner who cheated, being like, all right, you've cheated on me. Either we end it or I'm going to go have an open relationship. That's how it is. And then the partner who cheated is like, no, I made a mistake. Don't do this. Like, we'll close it off. Like, we'll be like, I'll be good. And you hold your ground. Be like, I don't care what you want anymore. Either we're ending it or I'm going to sleep around.
It's good. Everything burns down regardless.
It does. But that's the point, is that like, it's if you are in a relationship where you get cheated on and you feel justified cheating on them back, I think it's fine because it should be over anyways. And like, it's not really a big deal.
It's shit. Just
I'm forced to defend this opinion. I am sorry. I would rather you break up. But if you're gonna stay with them and cheat, then like, go for it.
If it doesn't work for you, just it. Like, yeah. I don't think you should cheat on a cheater because I don't believe in violence for the sake of violence or revenge for the sake of revenge.
Nah, revenge is sweet. Enjoy it. Dabble in it. Taste it from its luscious vine. Nibble on the grapes of revenge sex. Yeah.
In fact, go cheat. Take a picture of yourself cheating. Send it to the person.
All right, every porn intro ever.
Hey, no, you cheated on me? Yeah.
Hey, step bro. My boyfriend cheated on me. I just need to send a pic of me sucking a so that he can get back at him.
Oh, you happen to have the let me put it in my mouth. Welcome to porn, bitches. What do you guys think? Do you think you can cheat on a cheater? Or do you think you should just end it? This question feels stupid now.
I think that if you're going to cheat on a cheater and then end it, that's a double whammy. I approve of that just because I'm a petty person.
Corey
I like
is a petty bitch.
I'm petty. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to check out the Patreon where you can see the full Uncut and Uncensored podcast a week in advance. And you can see our other content from Nick and Corey. Movie and show commentary. Please like and subscribe. We really value it. We're trying to get this podcast off the ground.
And if you like listening to this podcast,
like it.
please listen to it on Apple Music, Spotify, and Audible, and other places that are linked down below. We love you guys, and we hope you love us. Send your likes and loves in the comments below. And
we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, comment your favorite animal.
Okay. Yeah, I like red pandas.
Nick likes watching red pandas have sex.
What the I'll never forgive you.